Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you very, very much for dialing in for our webinar this evening in Kenya. My name is Catherine Musakali, and I'm the chair of the Women on Boards Network. This is our third webinar for the junior membership, and we are indeed grateful and thankful that you found the time to dial in. And without wasting too much time, I want to introduce you to your moderator for the session this evening. And her name is Mrs. Judith Sidi Odhiambo. Judy is a member of the board of Women on Boards Network. And so I want to hand over to you, Judy, first to introduce our guest this evening, and then to moderate the rest of the session. Thank you very much and enjoy the session.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you for the team that has been supporting this. Our guest today is Caren Wakoli. Welcome, Caren. We also have Kantai Naserian who also is with us, and Hannah Mwangi, who are also helping to coordinate the whole exercise. So for this session, just to remind you, is for age 13 to 19 years. So we are starting off now until 4:30, and then we'll have the second group now from 20 to 25 years. So if you are 20 to 25 years and you're in this group, then I would suggest probably you can excuse yourself so that then you join in at 5 o'clock. So for now, we shall be focusing on the group of 13 to 19 years. I've also noted that most of you have joined, some of you, their parents, so I know it will be an interesting conversation. And thank you, Catherine. So I'd just like to kick off by introducing Caren. Caren will be taking us through this 1 hour session this evening. I'll introduce her. I've tried to summarize her CV. She has a very impressive CV, which I went through and I was like, wow, this is great. So I'll go through her CV briefly, and then after that, I'll hand over to her to introduce, and then she will take us through her experiences and what she has observed. She will also be able to go through the interactions with you, the question and answer, so that you can be able to interact.
Judy seems to be frozen. Is it just me, or is it that she's frozen?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay. Allow me then, while Judy sorts out her internet, just to say a few words about Caren. Caren is first and foremost a dear friend of mine, Caren Wakoli. Caren is the founder and executive director of Emerging Leaders Foundation. Caren has dedicated her life to mentoring the youth, to growing the youth, to helping the youth and the younger generation to really be the best they can be in their lives. Caren has worked tirelessly with the young generation to get them to where they are. She has been recognized outside of Kenya as an emerging leader. She has been recognized by former President Obama. She has been recognized by former President, the late Mandela. And Caren has also been recognized locally by our own president in terms of the work she has done. So thank you so much, Caren, for agreeing to speak with us this afternoon, this evening. And I want to hand over to you. Judy, are you back?
Okay, thank you. I'm back, but sorry for that, but you can produce progress. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Caren. Please do justice to your introduction, because I know I didn't do half the justice that you deserve. Thank you.
Catherine, you did so well. You actually in a big way, did justice to the introduction. And what matters really is not the introduction. I think what that matters, but I think what matters the most is the conversation we are going to be having today. I would like for you to try and make use of your chat. Get into the chat room if you have any questions, if you have any observations, if you wish to respond to any questions, or even raise my attention to something, or raise the attention of our moderator for the day, Madam Judy. Feel free to use the chat to do that. So we are going to be talking about mentorship, why mentorship is important, and then we are going to be talking about personal development. Do you think it's possible to have personal development without mentorship? And do you think mentorship can occur and at the end of it all, there's no growth or development? I've never seen such a thing, never heard of such a thing. So in a big way, that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm so happy to be here. I am a proud member of Women on Boards. I kept just visiting, attending some of those meetings without being a member, but time came when I said, you know what, I desire growth in my life. I desire to be around older and younger women and peers who I can learn from, who can challenge me. And I decided to join Women on Boards last year. Oh my goodness, my life has never been the same again. It's an amazing platform. Like you have been told, I serve at Emerging Leaders Foundation. I started Emerging Leaders Foundation back in 2012. And this has been one interesting journey, like a typical journey with potholes along the way. And you get to some place and the road is smooth and nice and the weather is nice. And you get to a place where it's raining and, all those things, just imagine a typical journey. Yes, this has been one of those typical journeys. And I'll be talking about that later on as we go on. So I would just like to get from you, if you would like to speak, please raise up your hand and we can let you speak. But if you wish to give your response in the chat room, please do that. I'm actually looking at the chat room to wait for your responses. So this is my one question. Where you are at, you could be a student, you're going to school, you're on school holiday right now, or you're learning from home, and you're a child, you're a daughter, you're a son, whoever you are. What are some of your aspirations? What are some of those things you aspire to? That is one question. The other question is this. What are some of those things that make you sad, things that vex your soul? I would love to know that. Things that you struggle with. I have been privileged to work with a number of young people in schools, both in primary schools, in high schools, in international schools, in local schools. And some of the things that I see, and I do not want to determine the answers. Let me see some of the responses coming through. There's financial independence. Samson Sagwe says financial independence, and many more coming in. Thank you. Please respond in the chat room. I have encountered situations where boys and girls have faced bullies or are being bullied, and so that has affected their self-esteem. It has affected their self-image and how they view themselves and look at themselves. And such things are actually not good, not productive at all. But then how can mentorship help us to be able to get away from that place of darkness, of bullying, of sadness, of unproductivity, of low self-esteem, and looking at ourselves as if we can't be whatever we want to be in this life and in the world? How can we move ourselves from there to a place where we believe in ourselves? We are financially independent and secure. We are performing well in school. We have a healthy self-image of ourselves. We have a healthy self-esteem. We believe in ourselves. We have great company. The friends we keep are amazing. They are great. How do we move ourselves from this other dark place to this other brighter place? where we get to fulfill the fullest expression of who we can be in this life as created by God. Now, Samson Sagwe says financial independence. Julia Paul says seeing other people sad. That's an issue. And then culture shock. Somebody says, same Julia says, it's kind of hard to get genuine friends. And then having come from Africa, you're always being used. Thank you for those responses. Oh, it's Prince, not Julia. Okay. Prince Paul. So yeah, sorry, Julia. Paul. No, Prince. It's Prince, not Julia. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. Melody Libamira says, be a volunteer in a children's home. Thank you. Oh, Julia is the mom. Oh, mom, karibu. Welcome. Welcome so much. And yeah, keep the responses coming. That's really good. I would like to share just a part of my own story, and then we can see how some of these things come into being. Mary Chebet says, it's hard to achieve your goals in certain subjects. Yeah, there are some subjects that are difficult. Some are not so difficult. Tyra Oteno says, pass KCSE and get a course that I want to pursue. So academic excellence comes in there. Now, I went to a school in Western Kenya. Okay, I schooled all my life, primary school, high school in Western Kenya, a place called Bungoma. My high school is called Lugulu Girls High School. I was there for 4 years, then graduated to be able to join a university. And I joined University of Nairobi. And so I'd like to tell you a few things that in a big way shaped me then and affected how I viewed life and how that changed for me, and how mentorship came through for me in a big way to make a difference for me in my life and who I am right now. And I am grateful that God has given me the platform to then be able to work with other boys and girls and other young people to just support them to be the best they can be in this life. Bridget Waluba says, my aspirations are never to give up. Thank you. That's really critical. Never, ever, ever give up. Ariana says, I struggle with parenting. So you can see, we struggle with different things, and they're going to be coming up in the chat. Keep them coming up. Thank you so much. Now, back to my story. I think mine has been an amazing story. I love my story. I have had moments when things were thick, when things were difficult. But let me talk about the transition to the university, because I think many of us can be able to relate to that, to this particular stage where I was at in my life. I passed my exams very well to join the University of Nairobi, but I had a low self-esteem of myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough to come to the big city and compete with kids from big cities or from rich backgrounds and all that. But I had a dream in my heart. So on the one hand, poor self-esteem, I didn't feel I was good enough. I had challenges in terms of communicating English, communicating well. Those challenges were there. And I'd look at myself and say, I was told I can be anything in this life. I have what it takes to be anything and achieve anything in this life, but I can't communicate well. That was one. And the other one is, I didn't feel I was good enough. And I remember one time, the house custodian I was staying in came to me and told me, Caren, you can be a great leader of this particular hostel, but I know your challenge big time is communication. I hear that when you read a lot of books, you get to improve your communication. And of course you get to the content, but in a big way, you improve your communication. And something else I wish to let you know at this point in time is that I joined the university and I had all these things, little things happening where I didn't quite believe in myself, but I was so passionate about leadership. because I have had the chance and the privilege to be a leader like all my life. Primary school, I was a prefect. High school, a prefect. University, I then got to a point where I wanted to be a leader. But I had all these things working against me. And I said, okay, so this lady tells me if I read more, I will then improve my communication more and then become a better leader. And I remember one time making a prayer and saying, you know, God, I have these things that I do not like about myself, but I have these dreams and these aspirations. I pray that as I take this step of faith, that whatever I get to do is good enough for me to get elected to represent students, but to also be the best I can be in this life. And at that point, the fear left me, because initially I was so afraid. How can I take this step and go forward? Yet I have these challenges. But the moment I let go fear, it left completely. And I was able to plunge myself into student leadership. And that was a whole beautiful experience for me, because it changed me. It changed my perspectives and my views completely in a big way. And then by the time I was clearing university, I had gotten opportunities to make a difference in the lives of students, but also in the lives of young people at the national level. And sometimes as you do this work, you do not foresee that accolades are going to come. But yeah, I was able to receive a couple of awards here and there. But then the main thing is I was a better human being. I had become a better individual. I was a more confident leader. I started championing issues of youth empowerment and young people's empowerment in the education sector, in the economic sector, social sector, political sector, in terms of policy. And I was happy. And then time came when I faced another crisis, which was, who am I? So after achieving all these things and making a dent here and there and being in the news here and there and being written about in newspapers here and there, I didn't know who I was and why was I doing what I was doing. And I started asking the question, who am I? What's my purpose in this life? What am I here to accomplish? If God is to call me today, this was now many years ago, will I say I lived my life to the fullest, or will I say I was afraid, fear controlled me, and I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do and to be the best I could be in this life? And that is a journey that went on for a couple of years. Then, you know, I just discovered my niche, which was work with young people, support boys and girls and young adults, young women and young men to be the best they can be in their lives. And ever since, I haven't looked back. I trained as a journalist, but time came when practicing journalism was good, but working with young people was much more fulfilling. And so I decided to embark on the journey of starting Emerging Leaders Foundation to work with young people and to support young people. And in the whole of this journey, let me tell you something. I would never have achieved what I have achieved, or I wouldn't be where I am at without the mentors that came along the way to guide me, to talk to me. And I remember this particular time when I faced failure. I faced failure big time, and my failure was public failure. And I wondered, and I said, I think this is it. But there are a couple of mentors and women who came to work with me and to journey with me and to tell me, you know what, Caren, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is just a part of the journey. But failure doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means that whatever action you took, you may need to take a different action, but it doesn't mean that you're a failure. They talked to me, and I remember one of them was actually Catherine Msakali, the founder of Women on Boards, and she's actually in this meeting today. She sat me down and said, Caren, you can't afford to give up. I have seen in the chat room, who was it? Somebody, Bridget Waliuba, was talking about sometimes I struggle with giving up. Many of us, maybe, we find ourselves in certain situations where either you've flopped in an exam, or you were late at school, or something happened, and then you look at yourself as a failure, or you want to give up, oh, I wanted to give up. But I remember Catherine sitting me down and telling me, Caren, giving up is not your portion. You cannot afford to give up. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going one day at a time, one step at a time. And I remember at one point asking the question, I feel tired. How do I even take that step? And another mentor told me, keep showing up. Just show up. 90% of success in life is about showing up. When you wake up, when you're able to pull yourself up from your bed to go take a shower or go make breakfast and eat, that is a way of showing up. When you're able to make a phone call and say, I need help, that is a way of showing up. When you're able to call your friend and catch up and advise each other and be there for each other, that is a way of showing up. When you're able to take your journal and write down the things you want to do or some of the lessons, that is showing up. I would never have been able to learn that were it not for mentorship. So mentorship has shaped my life big time. And what we do at Emerging Leaders Foundation is actually then offer this platform where young people get to be mentored. And mentorship can be formal, but it can also be formal. So it can be formal in the sense that there's a plan, there's a program in which mentors are paired up with mentees, and then people are able to check in on the progress and get to see, you had a goal, what progress have you made, what challenges are you facing, where are you at, and you know, all that. But there's also the informal mentorship where you just get to have a conversation. It could happen at home with your parents. It could happen with your peers where somebody shares a lesson or something like that. It could even happen at the shopping mall. You know, we get, with the moment you get to open your eyes and be open-minded, there's no limitation to learning. You learn anywhere, everywhere, and through everybody. The security guard, the house help back at home, the taxi guy, the driver, anybody, we get to learn lessons. So I would just like to leave you with 5 key things about mentorship.
Caren, I'll interject you a bit. So somebody has just asked, what gave you motivation to work hard in school? Even as you take us ahead, just to give us the 5 items that you want to discuss.
Okay. Wow, and I can see that is Tyra Otieno. Wow, what gave me the motivation?
Tyra, yes.
In school? Many things gave me the motivation. I think the first one was the belief that really education is the greatest equalizer in this life, and that with education, there's no limitation to what I can be, what I can achieve, and who I can be in this life. That education was the key for me, for that life that I wanted to live. And I remember growing up, my dad and my mom always kept telling me, I'm the eldest in my family. So my parents always kept telling me, Caren, when you get the chance to go to school, give it your all, because education is what will help you get out of poverty, and education is what will help you get your family out of poverty. So I think one motivation is that I was running away from poverty. But number 2, I had dreams and aspirations. And one of those was that tomorrow will be a better tomorrow. That I wanted to make an impact in this life before I expire, or before my day to meet the Lord comes. I wanted to make that difference. I wanted to touch lives. And what better way to do that than to actually acquire an education? And the most important thing is really not about what we learn in school. It is what we are able to utilize that knowledge for. For instance, I learned journalism at school. I'm not practicing journalism right now, but even this engagement that we are having, I'm able to apply part of what I learned at school. So back to you, Tyra. What gave me the motivation to work hard? It was the belief and the desire and the aspiration that tomorrow will be a better tomorrow, and that I have what it takes, and I had what it took to create the life I wanted to live. I wanted an amazing life. And some of those things I wanted when I was younger, I'm actually living that life now. A few of those things haven't been achieved yet. I'm still working at being able to achieve those things. But by and large, the life I desired and why I also really worked hard at school, primary school, high school, university, was to be able to have an impact, but to also just be somebody different and get to live the life of my dreams. Judith, do I go on, or is there another question?
No, just go on. I will interject later, but just go on, because I know you are taking us through some 5 items that you have, I think you have used in your your mentorship.
Yes. Thank you so much. So I would like to just share some 5 key things that I pick from my own life with mentorship and that I would like to share with you. Number 1 is self-awareness. As a child, as a young person, as a teenager, as a young adult, the greatest place to start is to know who you are. Who are you? Like when somebody comes to you and says, Ariana, who are you? Or says, Tyra, who are you? Hannah, who are you? Anthony, who are you? Paul, who are you? What do you say? Do you say you are what you do, or you are your tribe, or your religion, or where you're born, or your age, or your gender, or who are you? And this for me is so critical, because then it forms the foundation of every other engagement in life. And I would like to put to you that you are special. For real. It doesn't matter what other people have told you. And by the way, what counts is not what other people tell us. It's who we say we are. It's what we say about ourselves. It doesn't matter what people call you out there. What matters is what you say yes to. What you respond to is what matters. And to be able to get to a point where you're able to differentiate between who you are, what people say, and who you really are, it is being self-aware, getting to know who you are, your value system, what you can do and what you can't do in terms of what you can negotiate for and what is non-negotiable in your life. So get to know and understand who you are. That is big, that is king. And it doesn't matter what people say or what bullies say. What matters is what you say about yourself. Number 2, I know at this age, we get to experience a lot of peer pressure, pressure to look a certain way, pressure to sound a certain way, pressure to show off certain things. And friends really matter. Pressure to belong to a clique really, counts sometimes at this particular age. But I would like to give you an assignment. When you go back home or after the call, take time and just write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to your younger self and pick some of the lessons you know now that you didn't know then about things that gave you trouble then. And you'd realize that peer pressure may be there. You may be facing that, and maybe you are really not fitting in, and so things are really thick, but you know what? It's just a season. It will be over. Have people around you who support you, people who push you to be the best that you can be in this life, not people who want you to conform or people who want you to push you, let's say, into drugs and into certain things. No, don't get into that. Once you know yourself and you know your dreams and aspirations in this life, the only pressure you can allow in your life is the pressure to be a better version of yourself, not pressure to be something else. No. So if there's pressure, then let the pressure be good pressure. And our friends and the people around us determine who we become. So choose wisely. Have friends who build you, friends who believe in you, and friends who really want the best for you. And I hope that then you also become a positive influence to your friends, and not just expecting others to influence us, but then how can we also influence other people from who we are and from our own experiences. Failure is another lesson.
So Caren, just to interject.
Yes.
We have our Ogasha. She wants to speak. She's raised her hand. So Ogasha, can you be able to speak, and let's hear you. What do you have? Are we able to get you on call? Okay. And are we able to get Ogasha?
Ogasha, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, so Caren, just continue. Maybe when we're able to get her, she'll again send a message to Hannah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue, Caren.
And I love that there's a chance to actually do the chat, but then Ogasha wants to speak up. That's really, really cool. Congratulations, Ogasha. We're waiting to hear you. So please, when you're ready to speak, raise your hand up again, and then you will get the chance to speak. There's a lesson about failure. I have encountered boys and girls and young adults who have either failed in one subject or the other, like somebody said in the chat. I can't remember who that was. And sometimes we fail and we think we are failures. We think nothing good can come out of us. We think we messed up and that's it. It's a done deal. No, it's not done. That is just one moment. And what matters is not how many times you fall down. It's how many times you're able to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And that is not the only moment you're going to fail in your life. As you get older, as you grow older, and even get to a point where you have your own family or your own organization, or you have your own team in your department that you're leading and managing, or that even you have your own nation that you're leading as the head of state, or you'll realize moments of failure will come, moments of disappointments will come. But I would like for you to encourage yourself, because sometimes we depend on other people to encourage us, and the encouragement doesn't come. Encourage yourself. Tell yourself, I may have failed today, or I may have failed yesterday. This is the lesson I pick. I will keep trying till I succeed. Never, ever give up on your dreams and aspirations. They matter. You matter. Your voice matters. And your dream does matter. Never, ever give up on your dreams and aspirations. Please remember that from this meeting. Even when you fall down, you can always pick yourself up and have a fresh beginning. There's something else about self-love. It is really important for us to take care of ourselves. Take care of ourselves spiritually. Do you have moments when you get to meditate, to journal, to improve yourself and just be a better human being? Do you have moments when you work out, even during this Corona period? Do you have time when you work out, even just from the house, or going to take a walk, taking water, eating a balanced diet, to just make sure you're healthy, your mind is alert, and you're growing both physically, spiritually, psychologically, in every aspect of your life? That is so critical. And what makes the difference is our ability to love and appreciate ourselves. Our ability to know and understand and be convicted that we are special. No matter your experiences, no matter who you are, where you are special. And the greatest love really is not the love other people give us. It is the love we give to ourselves. So purpose to love you, purpose to protect you, purpose to give you the best before even giving the best to other people, because you matter. And what sets the standard in terms of loving other people and taking care of other people is how much we're able to take care of ourselves, protect ourselves, love ourselves, appreciate ourselves. That's really key. So Judith, do we have any more?
Caren, I think we've been able to get Ogasha. So Hannah, you can be able to put her on call.
She's actually texted in the chat box.
Yes.
The raise of hand was pressed by mistake.
Oh, so she wasn't ready yet.
Yes.
Okay. But we have a question from somebody here saying, are friends important in life? So even as you take us through, Caren, on self-love, I know we have talked about self-awareness, peer pressure. Now we were on self-love. So somebody has just asked, are friends important in life?
Wow. Yes, absolutely yes. there's no way we can go through this life just by ourselves, without our friends. Our families may be there, but friends matter. And especially friends who can look at us in the eye and tell us, Caren, you're worth more. Tell us, Ariana, Ian, Ogasha, who else is here, Tyra, and all the other participants in the room today. Friends matter. Somebody said that we are the average of the 5 people we hang out with most, because who they are and the habits they have begin to rub off on us. So just look at your friends and analyze them, assess them, and ask yourself the question, are you proud to be an average of those friends that you have? And if not, what can you do to help your friends become better individuals? And if you feel you're not in a position to help them transform and become better individuals and better human beings and better people, or have better habits, or cease engaging in certain activities and start engaging in others, then maybe it will be time to let go. Say you'd rather be alone than be in company of people who pull you down, people who tell you you're not good enough, people who tell you you're a failure, people who tell you you're ugly, people who tell you things that break your heart. Friends are important, but in this case, you'd rather be alone than be with people who break your heart, people who basically just pull you down and they don't believe in you. You'd rather be alone. But yes, friends are critical. I can't begin to tell you stories of how my friends have come through for me in a big way, how friends have pushed me up in moments when I wanted to give up, and they said, no, Caren, you can't afford to give up. We're there for you. What do you need for us to do? So friends are really, really important. I saw that question had come from, who was that? Ian. Yeah, Ian. Oh, friends are really important. So begin to analyze your friends and either drop some, pick some, or keep those you have, or yeah, just choose what you want to do, noting the friends you have. But friends are everything. Friends determine how far we go in life or how low we sink in life. Yes, Judith?
And the other one is coping with pressure. Like, how does one cope with pressure? It says pressure from all sides, like parents. How does one cope with that pressure?
Thank you for the question.
And yet, I think from a parental side, you know, parents are also supposed to be like your first mentors in life. You know, when you're born, actually, there are people who mentor you before even other people come in. So how do you manage and cope with all that pressure as you try also to wean yourself of your dependency on your parents?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I can see Paul. Paul says, so how do I get a friend here? This is a nice one. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, Paul actually wants to have a friend. So let's connect. Let's make use of the chat and make friendships. This is how friendships are made. Yeah. So let me go back to the question about how do we handle pressure from parents? That's a really, really interesting and critical point of pressure. Parents pay our school fees, parents provide for us, parents give us the shelter and the things that we need to be able to get to the next level in life. But there are moments when sometimes pressure from parents can be too much. It is critical that then you get to sit down with dad and mom or your guardian and tell them, Mom, Dad, this is what I feel. I feel overwhelmed with your pressure. Maybe I didn't perform well in school because of this, and that, but yeah, I promise I'll do better and I'm working at it. But I feel that when you tell me this or when you do this, you put too much pressure on me and I get overwhelmed. Please speak out. Speak out, speak out. Find your voice and speak out. Even when parents are really harsh, it's still best that you get to let them know what they make you feel, or what that pressure they're putting on you is destroying you or it is doing to you. Because sometimes they don't know. Because sometimes they're busy working hard and you know, understandably so, making money to take us to school and give us our daily needs. And so they want the best. They want that when you're taking home your result slip, you have an A, or you're the best in your class. It's understandably so, but sometimes that pressure can be too much. So please speak up. Speak up. I have had conversations with young people, with teenagers, with boys and girls in primary school and high schools who have had too much pressure, and they have actually gone and opened up and just talked to their parents. And some parents have understood and said, okay, why we give you pressure is because of this and that, but I think we can do this next time. And, you know, have an understanding, get to make it a point to have conversations with your parents. And here is where mentors also come in. A mentor could even be a teacher. A mentor could be a relative. A mentor could be a family friend. Talk to them. If you're afraid of mom and dad, talk to them, to then talk to mom and dad and tell them, you guys are putting too much pressure on this son or your daughter, and this is not good. So that is where mentorship also come in. Open up, be vulnerable enough and talk about what you're facing. If something is happening at home or at school that you do not appreciate, or it is putting you down, or there's some violation of some sort, speak up. Speak. In fact, I think that should have been one of the lessons to share. You have a voice. Please speak up. Speak up, make your opinion known. And you do so respectfully. It is important, but speak up. Don't keep quiet. Don't be there suffering and issues are happening and you're just mom in your room and you're not talking, you're not telling anyone anything. No, that's where sometimes mental illnesses come up and mental issues come up, depression, because then we're not opening up, we're not talking to anyone, we're not talking to our mentors to tell them, you know, this is happening, I don't know how to go about this, or I made a mistake here, I messed up here, and now I'm in trouble, I don't know what. Speak up, please. Speak up. Speak up, speak up.
So thank you, Caren. So you can take us through the last two. I think we had still reached on self-love. So we have the last two.
Before that, I can see Samson Sagwe has written a question in the chat. Okay. And he's saying, can you be successful without having to go to the university?
That's a good one. Yes, you can take us through that. Do you have examples, maybe even of your friends? Probably they went to technical colleges, or they went to, probably, yeah, they did professional courses as opposed to going for the 4-year course. That would be an interesting one.
Wow. Hey, Samson, thanks. But I hope you're not planning to not go to for higher education. But let me respond to that question. Remember what I said earlier about the place and the importance of education. That education is really critical. But mindset is much more important than what you get to do in that classroom, on that desk or that chair. The mindset is really critical. Let me give an example. Many employers are having challenges with graduates, even sometimes to master's level, who cannot think critically. Or some of us are just graduating from these institutions and coming out to get a job. Yet we have skills, we have talents that we can utilize to begin to make money and earn a livelihood and make a difference in our lives, in our families' lives. And I wish to give you an example. 2 months ago, we hosted a group of young female university entrepreneurs. Young female entrepreneurs. And it was a public Zoom session. So people applied and then joined the session. And I asked the ladies the question, so has your business died? Or are you now making profits? Or have you diversified? Or have you discovered a different line of business? And I was so amazed to learn that there was this girl, there were actually 2 girls, first-year students at Kenyatta University, who were selling, I forget the name of these little bags, but cute little bags that ladies love to use. They designed them
tote
and then
bags.
Sorry?
Are they called tote bags?
Yes. Tote bags, yes.
Okay.
They design them and then go get the material and then get everything done, and then they go sell and make a profit. And then they just discovered that COVID happened, and now it is difficult to get to produce the tote bags and sell. And they discovered a different line of business that they can engage in during this Corona season and still make money. And so that tells you it is not the degree that is making them think. It is their open-mindedness and their adaptability and flexibility in their mindsets that is making them thrive, despite the fact that they haven't even graduated yet. So that is to say, really, you don't need a university degree to make a difference in this life, but there's an advantage that comes with higher education. Knowledge, understanding, ability to network, ability to think critically, those things come really at play, and that makes education really useful. I feel like in our society today, in Kenya or in different African countries, university education is like quickly losing its place, but then we also have TVETs that have come up, and they're offering hands-on trainings and skills that are very useful in this century, in the century to come. And so you'd rather have the mindset that you want to have the skill to learn, to be better, to think critically, to generate your own wealth and create a job for yourself, and not just go to school to say, you know, I have a degree, I have a master's degree, I have a PhD, yet there's really nothing tangible to show other than just saying I have this paper. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that, Caren. So we have one more. How do you overcome peer pressure from friends so as to concentrate on your studies?
I have a live example, and I wish this girl were to be here. She's 15. She's a student at Kianda. And she discovered she has this group of friends who keep on chatting, and they get to watch Netflix till 4 a.m. in the morning. Then they wake up at about 11 and continue chatting, and they're on social media, they're on TikTok, watching videos all through and having conversations. And she wasn't even doing her assignments at school and all that. And she was very tired. Like, she'd wake up feeling tired because she slept late, and then half the day is already gone and she's on TikTok and all that. And at one point she said, you know what, this has to change. I do not want to be on TikTok anymore. I want to be on social media and to connect with my friends, but you know what? I can only do that later on in the evening. I want to be sleeping at this time. I want to be waking up at this time. I want to be doing these things in the morning, do my studies, then take time, take a break, maybe clean or help my mom to cook, and then do this and that. And I checked in with her like after 2 weeks, and she told me, my schedule has changed and my friends are complaining. They're telling me that I'm no longer doing TikTok with them. I'm no longer doing the, they call it Facebook watch. Is it watch something? Watch party. Like till 4 in the morning. I'm no longer doing that, but I am happier. I am more productive. I have done all my school assignments. I have completed them. So that is a typical example of how to deal with peer pressure. Just be able to note what is really important. Friends are important, like you said, yes. But when negative pressure begins to come in with friends, then you know what the right thing to do is. Choose you. This is where self-love and being selfish with you comes in. Choose you. Choose to thrive. Because then we could have friends and we're maybe in the same circle, in the same clique, but we experience life differently. We have different stories. And so be true to yourself. Be true to your journey. Be true to your story. Yeah. And let go of that pressure.
Okay, so there's something that has just come. What about during this Corona season, where some university degrees may be irrelevant in the upcoming future? I think this one could be in connection with what I think it happened this week, whereby the CS was saying some courses, well, most students didn't pick some courses. Those who were picked to go to the university, some dropped to go to technical colleges. So is it that some degrees are also becoming irrelevant? And so people are becoming more choosy and they're picking out what they think will work for them practically with what they think they want to pursue.
You know how I would respond to that question is, it doesn't matter how flooded the market is. For as long as you are in your passion, you are in your element, and you're doing it, you're giving it your all, you will thrive. You will thrive. So what I would say is, don't just pick a unit or a subject or a degree course because other people are picking that, or because it's more marketable. No. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. And interestingly, I've also had conversations with young people when they're selecting university courses, and parents are telling them, no, I want you to study business. And she's like, I want to study literature, or I want to study engineering. And the mom or the dad are like, no. This is our family career or profession. This is what you have to do. No, I don't think you should go with that. And I think I was also a parent who was a victim of that, because I supported my siblings to go through school. And at one time, I didn't know I forced one of my younger siblings to study a course she did not want. She took the course because I wanted her to take the course, not because she wanted. And later when she opened up to me, oh, I felt so sorry. I then, gave her permission, told her, you know what, Vivian, please go and change the course and pursue what you want. There's no... I don't think there's nothing that can take away the passion and the joy and the beauty of doing something you love and loving what you do. Oh, that is the most purposeful place one can ever be. And that's why, like, for me, I enjoy the work I do. I enjoy it so much because I love it. I love it so much. I can wake up in the middle of the night and my mind will be on, youth mentorship. These are the statistics. These are the numbers, young women, young men. This is how we can improve, because I love what I do. So don't just pick a course because there's pressure from family or from friends or from statistics in the nation that, oh no, this is now more marketable. No, pick something you love and be the best at it, thrive in it. It doesn't matter how flooded the market is, you will always stand out.
Yeah, thank you for that, Caren. Yes, I also do agree. When you're doing something that you're passionate about, in fact, nobody will even force you to wake up. Nobody will force you to go and do it. You'll just do it because you are self-driven. You know that whatever you're doing is helping you, and also the bigger impact that it has on society. So somebody has said, in my primary life, we have about 5 minutes. In my primary life, I have been concentrating with my studies and got a good grade of B, but in my high school life, I don't feel passionate about my studies. And my parents are so worried about me. I'm in Form 3. What should I do before it's too late?
Thank you, Regina. Regina, I would really love to understand what happened. Where did your fire go to? Where did your passion go to? Yeah, what happened? And I like the fact that your parents are worried for you, and you sound like you're also worried for yourself. You want to make an about turn before it is too late. That's a great thing. So Regina, what happened? Yeah, because then in primary school you concentrated well and you passed, and then you went to high school and now you don't feel passionate about your studies anymore. Wow. Maybe we could have a side session to just understand, what happened, but this is what I would say. Regina, if you can sit down with yourself and just get to be honest with yourself, what happened? Is it that you don't like the school you're in? Is it that there's bullying? Is it that you don't like a teacher of a certain subject? But from your description, you're just not passionate about your studies anymore, yet like your studies in totality. Yeah, so what happened? I would like to encourage you and let you know that there's hope, that you can actually make an about turn. There's room for redemption. There's definitely room for redemption. And if you can just maybe have a conversation with your parents or with your mentor, or even write to Hannah in this chat, or share your contacts with Hannah, and we can be able to find you help to just understand, you know, what happened. But be true to yourself. You say, I am not sure, for I don't feel like reading at the time I feel like reading, and I also struggle with depression and anxiety. Oh, okay. Thank you, Regina, for being vulnerable enough to share that with us. Depression and anxiety is not the end of everything. It's not the end, and it's not permanent. It can change, but when you get to open up and actually find help. And thank you for reaching out to us to say, because then this is actually a call for help. So Judith, I think it would be useful to reach out to Regina to offer help. But if you can also just find, Regina, if you can find things you love to do, things that give you joy, please find those things and be able to engage in them. And I hope you can also just let go the negative energy. Try and see the positive side of everything, and see the good in you. Because this means you're definitely a brilliant girl. You have a bright future, but then the depression and anxiety are keeping you down. Please pick yourself up. Pick yourself up, and if you need help, definitely you do. Please ask for that help. Hannah, I see.
Yes,
Judy,
yeah.
I see
So Hannah will pick that up. We'll get in touch with her, because we still need to have a face-to-face with her. So there's quite a lot there to discuss. So we only have 2 minutes. Caren, so I'd just like you to wrap up and tell us, so what do you want us to go away with, even after this conversation that we have had this evening?
Thank you, Judy, for the question. And in my wrap up, I would like to remind you that mentorship is critical for your growth in your academics, in terms of your health, in terms of your finances, in terms of your life, in terms of your relationships. Please seek mentorship. And the 5th thing, Judy, this is actually going to be my wrap up, is about letting go. And I wish to then wrap up with a quote by Marianne Williamson. She wrote this particular quote. It is taken from a book she wrote called A Return to Love. And it goes this way. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, fabulous, and talented? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And this is not just in some of us, it is in each and every one of us. As we are liberated from our fears, our presence automatically liberates other people. So I would love for you to know that you are powerful beyond measure. And it is not your darkness, but your light that actually frightens you. So let go that fear. And own your awesomeness, own your brilliance and your fabulousness. And say, I'm fabulous, I'm brilliant, I can do this, I can be this. And yes, reach out, have mentors, and get the support that you need. I can see Bridget asking the name of the author. The author is called Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson, and the book A Return to Love. Thank you, Judith.
Okay, so thank you, Caren, for that insightful conversation this evening. I think all of us have been able to be encouraged by what she has said. Yes, one of the things that Caren has told us is mentorship is something that is available. We should be very observant, because mentorship can come in all forms. It can be formal, it can be informal. Let's be on the lookout for it. It can even be from your nanny, your house help, your taxi driver. So just be observant, because mentorship comes in all forms. So most of the time, yes, you have the formal one, but most of the time it is very much informal. And that also our parents are normally our first link of mentorship. So even as we go through the whole process, we find that our parents also play a bigger role. Also, just to appreciate that mentorship also is lifelong. So it is not something that is today, tomorrow. It is normally lifelong. So you'll find at every stage where you go through, whether you're in primary school, high school, you go to the university, you'll have various kinds of mentorships, because you're also entering into different seasons. And therefore, you should be very much alert on it. She also emphasized a lot on self-awareness. Self-awareness is very important because once you know who you are, you'll also be true to yourself. And therefore it becomes very hard for you to feel confused because you understand what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what am I good at, what is my personality, and therefore how should I manage myself? So that's very important. Peer pressure, the feeling to feel that you belong, that will always come. Again, it is just for you also to understand. Once you understand who you are, it will be very easy even for you also to deal with peer pressure. Self-love, I think she spoke a lot about that. You must love yourself. Don't delegate love to other people. You must love yourself so that other people can also love you. Otherwise, if you don't love yourself, then you cannot put pressure on other people to love you. So love yourself. Also, she took a bit of time to talk about speaking up. Speaking up is also very important. So it's important that when there's an issue, you speak up with respect. Speak up if a matter has come up. Speak up if you are not agreeing in terms of your way forward, of course, with your parents. Speak up, so even with your mentors, speak up to somebody who can even talk to your parents if you're not able to bring the issue to them directly so that you can get help. Help is always there, but you also have to say it so that people can know how you can be helped. Don't bottle it up on yourself. And then one of the things also that she talked about is that we should do things that we love, be passionate. We can see what Caren is doing. You can actually see she talks with so much passion. It's something she loves. I'm sure you cannot push her to do it. She will wake up whatever time, even if it's midnight, you know, to go and do it because that's her passion. That's what she lives for. She's actually working on her purpose. And once you operate on your purpose, then you realize everything else becomes so easy to navigate through. You are not struggling. And of course, to let go of fear. Fear, as she said, fear, we normally have fear to step into new places, new horizons. Maybe it's a new career you want to change a course. There's always that fear. Just step in and move on. Have the courage to do it. So I just want to say thank you so much, Caren, for having engaged us. Thank you also, participants, all of you who have managed to log in. I can see the numbers are at 44. This is very good. And I think all of us have been able to be blessed by what Caren has shared. The questions that you have, we shall be able to work on the responses. And this also will be shared because it's being recorded. And of course, it will be shared with you. You can be able to listen to it afterwards and just get the key pointers that you feel would be something that you'd like to adopt going forward. So I'd like to say thank you very much. To thank you also, Catherine. I don't know that she's on call. Catherine, is she on call? Okay, who also was with us at the beginning of this session, and to thank her also for having ensured that we were engaged in this session. So for now, I think it's the session where we are supposed to take pictures. Is it so, Hannah? Before we close?
Judith, that is not possible on the platform.
Okay. Okay, fine. So that will not be possible. So that is that is fine. So we have another group that we are waiting for to start at 5. This will be the older group. So we want to say thank you so much for the rest of you, and have a good evening and also a blessed week ahead. So thank you all and be blessed. Thank you.